we've got a really fun guest tonight. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I've gotten to know Chris a little bit better over the last few weeks because he is part of the active self-protection instructor certification. Cohort 6 is what I'm in, and he's one of the instructors for that. So he is a brilliant mind. Chris is a one-of-a-kind person. I've never met anyone like him before. And he has one of those minds that has a really deep curiosity for finding out what makes people tick. But it's paired with this insanely deep desire and a huge, huge heart to help others get where they want to be. And so it's a really cool combination. You'll understand why here in a minute. But Chris comes to us with an extensive background in human capital management and leadership development in the corporate environment. He's also had over 20 years of firearm-related professional coaching experience. And in addition to his role as co-director, that's what it was, co-director of the Active Self-Protection Instructor Certification Program, he's also a successful defensive space business owner affiliated with some of the best-known defensive companies in the U.S., including his role as part of the coaching staff at the Complete Combatant. You may have heard of Brian Hill and the Complete Combatant. He's been on these lives before as well. Chris enjoys personal growth activities, pursuit of perfection in pistolcraft, as well as spending time with his European Doberman Pinscher, Caesar. So bring this on. Hey, Chris, thanks for coming on tonight.
Hi, that was very kind. Thank you.
Oh, well, it's just how I feel. That's just what I say. It's how I feel. So we really appreciate you coming on. I know there were a lot of people really looking forward to this live tonight. And I know it's a little bit late where you are in Georgia compared to where I'm at in Montana. So I appreciate that you've taken the time and it's past your bedtime. So appreciate you doing that for us.
No, I appreciate the opportunity.
So let's just start. I wouldn't say at the beginning, but let's build a little bit more background and perspective for people because you have a very different, in my opinion, a very different training style and philosophy than I've seen from a lot of other firearms instructors. And could you tell us a little bit more about your journey as a coach and what your approach is in helping other people get to where they want to be?
Sure. So I think really where it started. So I've been in general industry, heavy industry, the corporate world for over 25 years or so. And that's really where I started realizing I enjoyed helping people figure things out. Um, so in that environment, you have to deal with a myriad of different, socioeconomic backgrounds, experience levels, things like that. So very early on in my life, I really kind of wanted to understand how to put puzzles together with people and how to build curriculums or do things to help them truly understand what they were doing because it mattered. So once I decided to get into the firearms space, which was, I'm dating myself, but over 20 years ago now, I kind of started like most people would, with just like your big certifying bodies, and teaching concealed carry classes, or I'm an instructor now kind of stuff. And that lasted for roughly a decade or so. And then I kind of just got this nagging feeling, an epiphany, I guess would be a better way to put it, that I just wasn't doing right by the people I was trying to help.
Mm.
I wasn't pursuing my own education. I wasn't trying to be the best version of myself that I could be, whether that be in my own skill level, my own teachings, things like that. And I was like, well, with the background I have, that's relatively extensive, um, why not apply those same thought processes to coaching in firearms? And that kind of spurred an initial thought on how I would go about doing things. And I've been crafting on that ever since, and just trying to get better at what I do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Small steps, leave no stone unturned, figure out the best way to reach people, and deliver the message. And
Mhm.
that's really, it's been a long road, but maybe I'm
So,
starting to figure it out.
well, we never have it all figured out. That's the beauty of it, right? So what is an example then of you said that a lot of the things that you learned, then you started applying to firearms training. Could you give us an example of something that you learned there that you brought into the firearms space?
Yeah, I think just leadership in general, or like the tenets of leadership, where what happens, I shouldn't say predominantly happens, but what happens a lot in the firearms instructorship space is people are just relaying information. They're not
Mm,
really actively trying to coach or teach.
mhm,
Um, and certainly not disparaging anyone or what they're doing, but uh, if I go somewhere and I'm learning from them reading off a PowerPoint, I can go to the public library and get someone to read me a story for free. Um,
mhm,
so it's more about I want to be in the journey with the client. I want to be with them and understand what their motivations are, what
mhm,
they're doing, why they're doing it, and actively listen to what they're trying to tell me, be that via body language, language in general, uh, just understand. And I think that's really from understanding leadership as a whole. It doesn't really work well from a top down perspective. It works much better collaboratively. And that was really the main thing I wanted to kind of input into how I worked with teaching in general, apply some of those things, and understanding how adults learn, understanding what makes people tick, because the message is absolutely important, but how you deliver that message is what will stick. Uh,
mhm,
then you create understanding, communicating to be understood, not communicating to be heard.
mm. Well, and that requires listening too, right? I mean, maybe one of the biggest things you need to do is listen, perhaps.
Yeah.